Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, Go to the roots, Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. I'm your host, Afridamus. I'd like to welcome all of you to today's show. Sorry, guys, I came in late today because I had stuff to do, but for sure, I'll make sure tomorrow's show is on schedule as we normally do. DMF, St. James, Real Africaner, and all the people that I haven't mentioned, welcome to the Afridamus Report. So people, if you've noticed, when it comes to this Pan-Africanist talk and the Back to Africa movement, or, you know, wherever you are in the West where Black people are concentrated, somehow the conversation about slavery just keeps coming up. It never goes away. If you're an African, literally, just simply you being an African, you've had the conversation where somebody's like, oh, if you're in America, they'll say, y'all sold us into slavery. Y'all, who is y'all? Meaning every single African who was born on the continent somehow was a slave trader. But the reality of it is, yes, it was Africans, people who happened to be Africans, that sold other Africans into slavery. White people did not come and just rushed into the African inland, you know, and captured these poor, you know, innocent Africans. Come on, you're smarter than that. How can a group of people come who, just a small number of them, they don't understand the environment, they don't understand the language, they don't know where to go. How can they just come in and start capturing people? How would they know who to capture and who not to capture? This was much more organized than that. And that slavery never went away. Most African countries that where these slave ships were coming from are civilized enough not to engage in selling people. But let me tell you, the old evil that existed then still exists. The old slave routes, they are all wide open except the Atlantic. Because the white people control the Atlantic, they shut it down. The white people are the ones that stopped slavery. Long before the transatlantic slave trade. Long before that. In sub-Saharan Africa, slavery existed. They traded humans for gold, salt, and various other stuff. They traded this with the Arabs back then. That went on for 500 years. But nobody talks about that slavery. That did exist. Did you know that? They mostly took men. And these men were used as soldiers or as guards over their many harems. And these men were castrated. They called it eunuch. This is why you're not going to see many, you know, the traces of Africans, many of them being in the Arab world. Then we fast forward 500 years later, the European entered slavery. Which Europeans did this? First, it was the Portuguese, the Dutch, the Danish, believe it or not, even the Swedish. The English were a late comer. They were late coming into this trade. But with consent, with their Christian values, with their citizens knowing about this, they fought to eradicate slavery. And believe it or not, on the other side of the Atlantic, they were in wars with some other African groups who did not want this to stop. But did this slavery, is it gone? Is it completely gone? Today you'll find out that it hasn't been gone. It's not disappeared. Because you see, when people think slavery, they are thinking, oh, the person would be in a plantation working there, getting whipped. No, 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 no. That's not what it is. If you are using the human's own body to enrich yourself for free, because you see, we are all born free. We are all free beings. So anytime somebody takes over, tries to take control of your soul and solely use you for the things that they can get out of you without you being rewarded, it is slavery. No ifs and buts about it. It doesn't matter who is doing this. That is slavery, because you're taking that human's soul. You're taking the freedom that they were endowed with. But I've heard people say the silliest things, especially here in America, because they want to just win arguments. And you have to be careful about that. People that just want to win arguments, they don't care about what is true and what isn't true. These are people that have anger. They don't care about what is right, because they are not in that hot soup. Because you see, if you're in a hot soup, you're seeing things, you're facing things. You're not going to say things just for the hell of it. You're not going to say things just because you want to win some stupid argument. I've heard people say, oh, the African slavery wasn't bad. Oh, really? The African slavery wasn't bad. People, think about that for a minute. So you're telling me the only time it is bad is if another person takes away your freedom, but another African takes away your freedom and even sells you. That isn't as bad? Are you kidding me? But these are the type of things people talk about. Now that would bring us to one of the popular destinations for slavery back during the Atlantic slave trade. Edo State in Nigeria. It's a southern part of Nigeria. It's a landlocked state. Edo State during the 17th, 18th, 19th century, and now the 21st century, they are very well known for supplying slaves. If there's buyers, if there's people that are willing to buy, Edo State people, they have people available for you to sell to you. You know, back in the days, they didn't have the middlemen who were living in the white man's world, who get to control the trade. But today they do. They use the old slave routes, the Sahara, the Mediterranean. I mean, this is pretty much the same exact picture how the slave route was, because at one point they used to call it the triangular slave trade. But the oldest slave route was through the Sahara. And today, that route is being utilized. And they call these people migrants. where they entice the people into believing that they are going to have a better life in Europe. We have work for you. This is what they are selling. Now, are these people going to be receiving better lives? You guys remember here last week, we had an argument. We had debates about what is sex trafficking. We even had a Nigerian on here trying to explain, trying to label another individual as a sex trafficker. I was kind of shocked that he isn't aware of what his fellow countrymen are doing to their own people. This is not just in 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. No, I'm talking about in thousands. In thousands. This is why I want to come here on record today for us to talk about this modern day slavery. Because you see, now everybody that talks about slavery, they want to exonerate the Africans that sold other Africans. People want to make it seem like it is all Africans that were doing this. No. Just like today, these slaves, which are mostly young girls who are being taken from where? Edo State. What is about Edo State that during the transatlantic slave trade, they were able and readily happy to provide humans for sale. They had slave markets. But nobody talks about it. People pretend and say, oh, it was white people that came there and took them. No. Edo State had people to sell, and they did it happily. So we can say, okay, fine, Afridamus. You're just talking crap. You don't know what you're talking about. Because they're going to say, oh, there's no record for us to see. Do you think when that Atlantic slave trade was happening, do you think everyone was aware of it? Imagine there was no cameras, communication wasn't as great. So it would be more hidden than what is happening today. So we don't have to even look far. I'm going to uncover the same slave trade, not through the Atlantic, but this is through the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean, into Europe. This is why when you walk to places like Italy, the streets are littered with Nigerian women. They would say Nigerian, but these women are not from all over Nigeria. They are from a specific region in Nigeria called Edo State. Edo State, if there's buyers, they have humans. They have humans to sell to you. You can literally buy humans even today in Edo State. Seriously, this is not an exaggeration. You can literally buy human being if you want to. People say money is the root of all evil, but I disagree. The love of money is the root of all evil, because if you love money so much, you love material wealth, but you don't have a way of creating it, you're bound to do things like this. So for people, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of young women from the Edo State of Nigeria. This is why when that Nigerian man was here trying to argue with me, this is why you got to be careful. You don't know who is watching these shows. It was a Nigerian woman that reached out to me in my inbox, sent me some videos and told me, please, sir, I want you to talk about this, because this is a crisis. This is a crisis for us. And these women are not only being transported just to Europe. They are selling people as slaves in the Arab world as well. So that means the old slavery didn't die. It's back alive. Because maybe in Nigeria, most of them have not changed their mind about selling human beings, making money off human beings. And this is a mentality. It is a cultural thing. It is a cultural thing. This is happening in a hidden form. For some of you that live in Europe, in the southern European countries, you've probably run into these young ladies. You've probably seen them. Some of you might even say, oh, I can't believe these women come all the way here to be street walkers. But little did you know, these are slaves, literally. There's people over them. These are not white people. These are other Nigerians. In fact, before they bring these women into this journey, what do? They take them through this traditional evil ritual where they make them take an oath saying that if they tell, they could die. Literally. But you see, they're from that same culture, so they are going to believe it. They are going to believe it. I have some clips here to show you that both where these women are sent to some of these closer Sahara countries. So you will see for yourself that all this talk saying, oh, it is white people that are about slavery. No. The African slavery is as evil. So this is why people cannot just go around saying, when it comes to Africans, for instance, when one does something, they have to label all Africans. Why is that? This is why I don't group myself. I do not group myself. You can try to group me all you want, but my principles and my code is against taking another human being's freedom and their rights. But when a majority, let's say place like Edo State, they have no problem selling human beings for whatever reason. That needs to be pointed out. If we don't talk about this now, guess what? White people are fighting to rescue these women, by the way. So you would see years down the line, they would come and say, those white people are the evil ones. They are the ones that brought them there to do all these things to them. That's what they would say. The African traffickers. Let me rephrase, not just any African. The Nigerian traffickers that are trafficking their own people in the hundreds of thousands now, by the way. You will see this. In the hundreds of thousands, they're trafficking them into sexual slavery. Yes, they don't need them to pick cotton. They don't need them to work in the farms, but they are getting them to sell their body. Isn't that what slavery is? When the person takes complete control over your body, your thinking. Do you think these young women, this is what they want to do with their lives? They don't want to do this with their lives. But somebody is over them. A group of people are over them, exploiting them. That's exactly what slavery was. The transatlantic slavery, you think the slaves that they put in cargo ships and bring them to America, Jamaica, Brazil, and all these places, do you think they wanted to be working from sun up to sundown for free? Do you think they wanted to do that? They didn't have a free will. They didn't have a free will. Because if they try to resist that, they face punishment and death. And these women are facing the same exact thing. So let's call a spade a spade. Let's call it what it is. But before I get into the video clips that I have here to show you that this is how this, because the slavery, the sex trade itself, they are distributing these women like merchandise in different, even not only in Europe, in some of those countries that are closer to the desert. This is why I say the old Saharan slave route is wide open. They're even selling the men too in these Arab countries to get them to work in farms. Did you guys know this? Few not that long ago, a couple years ago, there was a CNN clip that was leaked where they were auctioning off young African men. So this is the thing. The Africans themselves, especially in that part of Africa, because this all seem to be Nigerians for some reason. They are very much happy to sell other humans for money. They are happy to do it. No one is forcing them to do it. That's why I said now, from the beginning of the travel, they are the ones bringing these women all the way from Nigeria, taking them through illegal routes all the way into Europe. They control this the entire time. And then the sad thing is, the victims also eventually become the victimizers. This is what is so hard about, putting a stop to this. Oh, also, they don't speak, they don't talk. How are you going to stop it? How are you going to stop it? But before I get into it, let me play the Pan-Africanist church music here and get you in the mood. Brace yourself for these videos that are about to come your way. Some of you, this is gonna be like a shock for you. Some, you probably are aware of it. Some are gonna be upset, and some are gonna be really sad. But if we don't talk about it, who is going to talk about it? Who is going to help this modern day women, these women that are trapped in this ring of sexual slavery? Who's going to rescue them? How are they going to be emancipated? So anybody that talks about, oh, slavery, this, slavery, that, if you are truly about fighting to eradicate slavery, here's your battle. Here's your battle. You don't have to go around trying to, make other people feel bad about experience that you yourself haven't experienced. I'm showing you people who, they don't have to make this up. They don't have to say it happened to their cousin, their niece, their great-great-grandma. No, it's happening to them. I understand. For some in America and in the Caribbean, other places, you're seeing exactly how the slavery also happened, how your great-great-grandparents were sold off. The same evil, the same grouping, the same organization that did that is still alive and well. That's my whole point here. It is not every African, but that evil still existed. What, you think when they abolished slavery, what happened? Do you think the people who were slave traders, they just disappeared? No, they did not. They have children, great-grandchildren. It passes from generation to generation. If that is their way of thinking, if that is their way of making money, do you think it's just going to fall out of family tradition? Absolutely not. And clarification, there are people in this very Edo state who are trying to fight against this, but they are not gaining any traction. So every little help, every little light that you have and shine it on this would just help them reinforce to show that there are people out there who are hearing the cries of these people. Because you guys remember, that's what they said about the transatlantic slave trade, right? The slaves were muzzled. Nobody was hearing their cry. But now we understand and have seen the damages and effect of it. Nothing good can come out of slavery, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing good can come out of taking another human's soul, because that's what it is. Think about that for a minute. Think about that. But let me take you to the Pan-Africanist Church, and we'll come back and analyze some of these videos. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you notice, the end of that right there is just a blank, dark screen. This is what they turned this woman's life into. A life of darkness, killing their spirit. The worst thing that any human can do to another human is to enslave them. Take away their God-given right. We all have the right to manifest what we came here to do. But when other humans think you are supposed to be their merchandise, now that is very evil. It doesn't matter who does it. Evil is evil. But now, I'm about to play you this video here. This is from Mali, people. So they are transporting, because you see, when they bring these women from Edo State, telling them, oh, we're going to take you to Europe, right? So they're taking the back roads, the routes, going through Niger, it's called the Agadez, but they start through Mali, going into the Sahara to cross over to Libya. They're enslaving people over there too. But now you're going to see the collaboration here, where, again, Mali also would stand out, because Mali also, back in the days, if you look at it, most slaves were also coming from Mali, being shipped. So it looks like the old route where, the places that were producing most of the slaves, they are all in on this. It's a segment of the population. It's as if they just poured the spiritual water on them, and they are wide awake. They are like, yes, we're ready to be a part of our old trade. I'm about to show you here. You're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. And then we're going to go into details of how these women are getting transported and who is doing it. You'll see for yourself.
Despite the presence of Malian soldiers, the armed men arrived in huge numbers. They made it clear the Nigerians trying to rescue their citizens trapped in the sex trade aren't welcome here.
Did you guys hear that? So there is Nigerians who are live in Nigeria, going all the way, starting out in Mali to try to rescue their people because the other evil ones sold them. So when people used to say, oh, the Africans didn't come rescue their people in the Atlantic slave trade. Again, this is what I'm saying. It is a segment of the population who are into selling people. Others are against it. They've always been looking for their people to rescue them. But now, this is an African country, Mali. There's a reason why I'm starting right there in Mali. They have Nigerian women there as their sex slaves. And you have Nigerians, because it's close by, they want to come and rescue them. This is not white people. This is not Arabs stopping them. This is not outsiders, other African close by, because they want to keep these women as slaves. Let's hear more.
Eventually, the delegation had to leave. Activists who've been working with the girls say they face such threats every time.
Security agencies are working with them. In a situation where there's a lot of beneficiaries in a crime, it's very, very difficult to eradicate it. The people you think that you will call now to come and help you rescue these guys, they are benefiting every week from them.
On the outskirts of town, the team is able to meet some of the girls. Only one of them agreed to go back home. The rest are too afraid of the traffickers and too ashamed to face their peers and relations.
We can't force them to go back home, but those who are ready and willing to go back home, the Nigerian embassy, we're working with them closely. We're working with IOM closely. They are going to come together and take the girls back home.
While some of the girls have paid off the traffickers, many are still trapped. Teenage girls are less likely to be left off, even after paying an agreed sum of $2,000.
Thousands of the victims here in Mali are kept in makeshift structures like this. They say they're forced to sleep with as many as 10 men in a day. Some of them, as young as 14, were practically yanked off the streets of Nigeria in their school uniforms. Those who got away are either the very ill or those lucky enough to escape.
At this safe house in the capital, Bamako, a group of
You guys see, these are very, very young women. Teenagers. Literally teenagers. So this is a crisis, people. This is a huge, huge crisis. But people want to talk about Pan-Africanism. Oh, we want to help Africa. You want to help? This is something that you can help with, literally. But this has been done by people that look like them, that are from where they come from. Literally. They share the same culture. They speak the same language. Everything. But they don't have any human soul in them. So they have to use these people. This is the highest level of evil. So people that like to say, oh, the African slavery, Africans enslaving African, is not a bad thing. You don't think do you think these women are having a good time here? Do you think these women are having a good time? I don't think so. This is why they are using lingos like rescuing them. Imagine a little teenager raising your child until they're 14, 15, 16. Some of these women, believe you me, they are as young as that. Because see, the young women are the target because they don't know better yet. So they target them. And they bring them into this. There's nothing more terrible than this. I don't know how anyone can justify this. So evil is lurking around Edo State in Nigeria. And you should know, this is the same evil that sent many through the Atlantic slave trade. Majority were taken to Brazil. But now when people talk about it, they say, oh, these people, the Africans never sold anybody. It's all the white man. But you've never questioned yourself. How are these people getting these thousands and thousands of people, putting them in ships? All you have to do is use your common sense. But I hope after seeing this, you'll understand exactly how it's done. Yes, before they used to, bind the Africans that they sell, kicking and screaming because they don't want to go. But today, they don't have to do that. They have to trick them. And also the sad thing is, this is what I say, the love for money, that's where the evil is started. How are these young women themselves enticed enough by money to be lured into this? So today, they convince the Africans to transport themselves into these situations, this slavery. And it is not done by white people, Chinese people, Japanese people. They are working for African slave masters. You guys heard it. Some of them are afraid to leave because they're afraid of the sex traffickers. So that Nigerian man, Brian, that was coming here talking about trafficking, trying to explain it. I hope you watch this video and see. You don't need my definition of it. You are seeing it on camera for yourself, what sex trafficking really is. This is sad, but true.
30 women and girls wait for their repatriation home. When news filtered through that some of them will be leaving in a matter of hours, there was jubilation. But 18-year-old Faith isn't among the ones leaving. She's 8 months pregnant, and she has a lot of regrets. She's left home without telling anyone. She's now torn between her newly found freedom and how she will be received on arrival in Nigeria.
I leave the work while they learn. I leave my mother, come Mali, come to Asham, come carry belly from Mali class.
This 16-year-old teenage mother and thousands of others like her came to Mali through Benin Republic. A trafficker promised her.
Did you guys hear that? They named the place that played a pivotal role in the Atlantic slave trade, Benin Republic. So when some of you in America trying to big up this place is talking, oh, they stopped slavery. Really, they did? If they stopped it, why is it still ongoing? Why is it still ongoing? This is not about, feelings whatsoever. Look at, these are real human beings whose lives are being destroyed completely. That young woman, 18, she was brought here. Fine. She left her, without anyone knowing. But I'm guessing she was probably 16 or 15 at the time. What kind of human being preyed upon her young mind, her lack of experience? to help put her in this situation. I get it. Trust me, I know that for a fact. She didn't think this is what she was going into. She thought she would be taken to Europe because the feeling is, oh, I'll go to Europe, I'll have a better life, which I don't understand. But that was the feeling in her head. And these traffickers, they know these young people have these dreams and they prey upon that. That's where the evil is. Now her life is completely ruined. She's pregnant, probably with, one of her clients' child. She don't know which one, because, they said they have to service at least 10 men a day. So she's now in that loop, caught there. She can't go back. She's ashamed. And because if she goes back, guess what? The family, they wouldn't even accept her. So a lot of these young women, they already know the moment they find themselves in this, it's over. Just think about the psychological trauma alone, the psychological trauma. And then you add the physical trauma to that. That child will be the reminder of her pain forever. This is the type of damage these people are causing to their fellow Nigerians, to their fellow countrymen. Sad but true.
A new life with a well-paid job.
The place will find me say, now you both side, if I go, I'll come back quick so that I will get my money. Because she not tell me that I'm coming here to come and do a shower. She not tell me like that. And she can't tell me like that. I can't say, okay. She can't tell me I should not tell anybody. Say I'm traveling.
The girls at the mining areas and other brothels of Mali say they were registered by law enforcement on arrival. They also pay weekly dues to authorities whose only problem with prostitution is when it involves minors, at least underage Malians.
So Mali have no issue with these young Nigerians who are probably minors to engage in prostitution, as long as underage Malians, see, they know this is wrong. They're protecting their underage minors. They are getting them registered. Mali is an African country. They are registering these women to do this. You guys remember, go look at slavery. What happens? The first thing when you bring in the slaves, they register them. They put markers on their body. So these women are paying for everybody. Everybody is benefiting from them, even the Malian authorities. Authorities, people, think about that. So if you ever wonder how Atlantic slave trade and all that happened, you are seeing it unfold right here in front of you.
As a Nigerian delegation found out, repatriating an estimated 20,000 trafficked minors and young adults is complex. And the girls and young women trapped in the sex trade here may have a long wait before they are reunited with their families. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Kokoyo, Western Mali.
You guys heard that, right? So that's just one area. 20,000. 20,000. Now, I will take you to Italy, where they have up to 80,000 plus. The headquarters of the Nigerian mafia, who is behind all this. Yes, you heard it. Nigerian mafia. I didn't say Italian mafia, British mafia, Japanese mafia, Nigerian mafia. Hey, this is not, I'm not taking any shots at Nigerians. I'm sure good Nigerians will never associate themselves to these people. And in fact, you've seen it is other good Nigerians that went all the way to Mali to try to rescue their people. Did the Malian people make it easy for them? No. They've put every obstacle in their way. It's a serious case. Let me show you the deeds of the Nigerian mafia. If you guys think other people, white people, are more evil to you, you're about to find out otherwise. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have seen this. I know this is heartbreaking. Despite, some of these people trying to, deny it. Imagine people, even when you talk about the evils of the slave trade, I bet you back in the days, it's the same thing. People like this would come and say, oh, it is our business. Oh, we want to sell our own people. Why is this your business? Seriously. It is a huge, huge problem. This guy said people are jealous of Nigeria. Yeah, sure. I am very jealous of I want to traffic humans so bad. That's what I want to be proud of. That's what I want to be known for. Yeah, that's something to be jealous of. So people, this is what is going on. Sometimes you have to point out evil head on. That's the way you do it. You cannot allow yourself to be lumped in to certain things that you know. There's no way that you will ever do this. No way. And I know I've seen here some Nigerians are already here in the chat. They are very upset. I don't know why. It's not like I went to Mali and staged this and found some Malian women and say, hey, you know what? I want you to pretend to be a Nigerian. Or went to Italy and tell them, hey, pretend. Or make up a story that you were, to that David, you were once a Nigerian mafia. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not what happened. I'm just pointing out their deeds here. Their deeds. Because I was looking into this. I was thinking, I said, why is it that I understand there was the transatlantic slave trade, but it happened differently in different parts up there. But this Edo state and also in Nigeria, most part, they had the places that were engaged in this. They literally had an organized market. You could go and buy human beings. And even today, you could do that. They don't have them in market like that. But as you guys can see, you could buy Nigerian girls on the streets of Italy. Seriously. You could buy Nigerian girls in Mali, in Libya, different parts of the world. But people think, oh, no, it's just sex. No. You guys have seen what has been done. These women are forced against their will to engage in this. No different than when you are putting people in the bottom of ship cargoes and shipping them off. And people, you see, us, the other Africans whose people have not been don't believe in this type of things. Today, even us, our names are being tarnished. We are being referred to as, oh, you all sold us. Little did they know. In our part of Africa, we do not condone this. You look at the present day behavior, it would tell you what yesterday's behavior was. People don't just get up one day and start doing something. That's not how it goes. That is not how it goes. This is modern day slavery. However way you slice it, you cannot explain your way out of this one. And this is not to take a shot at some Nigerians. That's not what this is about. But this is to show the evil that is happening. In fact, it was a Nigerian woman who herself, a family member who is currently in Italy being enslaved by these people who wanted me to talk about this, who wanted me to bring this out here. Oh yeah, yes, another DMF contacted me about his DNA test, and I'm actually surprised. He's all over the place. He's half Iranian, Indian. He's got Pakistani in him. So you never know where people are coming from. They could be all over the place. So if you want me to read your DNA results here, send it to me. In fact, let me see. I'll put it in my file here. Let me see here. Thanks for reminding me. You know, this is very important to DMF. So I want to read his DNA makeup here. Let's see. The guy, his DNA is all over the place. So let's see. DMF's DNA test, what came up? He's 16% Iranian. That would be Persian. 20% French, and the rest Ghanaian. So, yeah, that's what his DNA test is showing. So I noticed that ever since I announced my DNA results here, it's been inspiring some of you to come out of the clear, to send me your results for me to read it. If somebody else want to be like DMF and send me your results, you want me to read it, by all means, do so. You can go to my Instagram and leave and hit me up there, message me. Oh, you know, my email is up there. Same thing. I'm happy to do it, people. Congratulations, DMF. You know, I would have never thought you were all over this place. You were part Persian, French, and hold on. Yeah. I mean, you do the number, you do the math. Okay. So, DMF, I don't know if you're looking into trying to get citizenship in these countries. Something to look at, you know. Oh, Stella said, wow. Oh, he said, wow, DMF. Stella wants to know which video shows my result. I said it here yesterday. Weren't you here? I talked about it. 40% Blackfoot Indian. Didn't you see that? Yeah, I talked about it. And, you know, for some reason, that upset some people. I'm like, really? What, you don't want me to be part Blackfoot Indian? What is this all about? Why you want to monopolize this? But oh yeah, Stella, I talked about it, you know. Yeah. So, but that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about this modern day slavery. This is a serious thing. So if anyone wanted to know the players even in the transatlantic slave trade. It is very similar. It is very similar to this. The only difference is they had the Europeans came, they had the cargo ships, and they buy people. They were willing sellers and willing buyers. As you can see right now, who is sending these people into this sex slavery? Who's doing this? I bet you after you watch this program, you won't be asking that question anymore. You got the answer now. I'll be doing a whole lot of other programs about this. In fact, next show that I'm going to do is who sold blacks into slavery? Who sold blacks into slavery? I'll be talking about that as well. Bernard Chukwudi said, why call out Nigeria? Call out other Africans as well. Just admit. Look, Bernard, if you or somebody, if you've been watching here, if you've been watching, you would have known that this shows here is not about just Nigeria. I've called how many African countries that have shined light on here? How many? But I get it, Bernard. This girl's lives don't matter to you. As far as you're concerned, oh, they are there for the taking. They are there for people to make money off of them. This is scary. People, I hope you're seeing this. I hope you're seeing this clearly. So all that stories they were telling you, saying, oh, it is the white people that came and kidnapped people, blah, blah, blah. It's all horse shit, people. You had people who, this Nigerian mafia, their great ancestors, they were in the human trade. This is why they are able to do it today too. It is passed on from generation to generation. That's what it is. So when they try to generalize it and make it this big thing, it's like they're trying to muddy the water. They don't want you to see what's going on. Bernard said, I don't feel good when non-Nigerians show us in a bad light. How would you feel if I speak on Gambia? Hey, I wouldn't feel any kind of way. If you're speaking the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to show Nigeria in any bad light. I just showed exactly what is going on. And Bernard, I want to ask you, why don't you want the world to know about this? The documentaries are already there. Audrey said, Afridamus, why can't you admit that Gambian prostitutes are in Europe too? Well, if I see Gambians selling Gambians into prostitution and there's Gambian prostitutes, Gambians trafficking other Gambians, I will talk about it as well. And if you believe there is Gambian prostitutes in Europe, don't talk about it. Show us the proof, just like I did here. This is not Nigeria versus Gambia. That's not what it is about. This is about the truth. If you see a group of Gambian women being prostitutes, send us the clips here. That's right. Facts over feelings. You guys have seen me talk about Gambia here several times. I've talked about Uganda. I've talked about other places. But in fact, when I was talking about Uganda, there was Nigerians that called in to participate in this. Exactly, St. James. You're right. Anyone that have proofs of these things they are saying, by all means, send me the clips. Send me the proofs. And if I don't talk about it, then you can say I'm biased. Hey, look, there are many, many different kinds of snakes, but not all snakes are poisonous. Some snakes you can play with, they can bite you nothing. But if you're bitten by the African black mamba, it might send you to your maker. Think about that. My point is, not every African is doing this. And it's not from jealousy, as he said. I wouldn't be jealous of people that are selling other humans. No. In fact, I want them to be better. I want them to be better, plain and simple. So, to try to flip it around. In fact, didn't you guys hear me talk about Mali here? How Mali is behaving this way? Yeah, Audrey, that's just fantasy talk. I just told you. Those prostitutes that you see over there in Gambia, on that beach side, they are not Gambians. Most of these people are from Nigeria, Liberia, Sierra Leone. They are not Gambians. In fact, I'll bring the clips here. You would hear they themselves tell you. Look, I may not know my flowers, but I know my African people, especially my Gambians. I know them very well. I will not come here and try to gloss over things. That's not what it is. You should be thanking me for trying to help get this message out there so people can see what the problem is. You see? Plain and simple. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the show today. I hope you enjoyed it because I sure did, and I learned quite a lot. And I don't know if Chukwudi and Audrey belong to the Nigerian mafia, but I'm not here to offend you guys. I'm just here to shine the light. Thank you all.